Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Full Potential Show. I'm James Rick, and this is your #1 non-boring source for personal development. And today on the line, we have Danny Kofke. He's the author of a simple book of financial wisdom. Teach yourself and your kids how to live wealthy with little money. You can pick up a copy of the book at Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. Danny's been on Fox and Friends, a CBS Early Show, lots of other shows, but the most important one today is the Full Potential Show. And Danny, we're glad to have you.
Hey, James, thanks so much for having me on.
I like the title of your book, How to Teach Yourself and Your Kids to Live Wealthy with Little Money. So it's very applicable in today's economy. What inspired you to write the book?
Actually, it was just, I felt I had another book out a few years ago, How to Survive and Perhaps Thrive on a Teacher's Salary, and I am a school teacher, a special needs teacher. My wife was a former teacher before becoming a stay-at-home mom, and we have two daughters, 7 and 4. And my first book, it kind of showed how we got to the point where we were able to have Tracy stay at home, but everyone's circumstances are different, and ours were too. So I felt like in the last 6 years, after having another daughter, still living off my teacher's salary, but doing well financially, I just felt like I had a lot more knowledge to share. And that's why I came out with this other book, especially right now. People are struggling so much, and a lot of people know how tough times are. And I just wanted to show them and give them some hope, because we're reading every day how tough it is. And I just kind of feel that bad news makes people put their head in the sand and they give up, throw in the towel and say, man, if that guy can't do it, I can't. I want to show people that you can do it. I'm a 36-year-old school teacher. I'm not an economics major, never took a financial class in my life. And if this school teacher can do it, then you can too.
I love it, and I love the concept. And actually, I think this is the direction that we're moving, especially as a country that at one time was just so wasteful, living in much larger spaces than we needed, spending more than we needed to meet certain needs with external possessions and everything else. I think we're getting to minimalism. I think we're getting to frugality. And this is the new way of living, and it's a way to do it with less stress. So I love the whole concept, and I'd like to hear how you're doing it on a teacher's salary, because we all know that teachers aren't getting paid 1/10 what they should be.
Right. Yeah, and I'll tell you, I mean, outside of Georgia here, or Atlanta here, I make about $40,000 a year. So I know right now it's hard to complain because so many people are getting by on less, but most would agree that's not a large salary. But basically, what has helped us, first and foremost, we had a plan in place. Before Tracy became a stay-at-home mom, she was a teacher as well, so we were never making a large salary, but we did okay, especially compared to what we're doing right now. But we knew if we wanted her to be able to stay at home and live on a single teacher salary, we would have to set ourselves up and not have a lot of debt, not have a huge mortgage, and have an emergency fund in place. So we spent the time while everyone else, this is in the early 2000s, people laughed at us, made fun of us because we were different at that time. We were saving money. We had one car. I rode my bike to work. We were just smart because we were planning ahead. But that is probably one of the biggest keys to our success is we had a plan in mind. If you don't know where you're going, it's very difficult to get there. So when it comes to money, or when it comes to anything, you need to have goals, I think. But especially with money, you need to know where you're moving and move in that direction. So that was a big key for us. And another thing is we work together. If you are married, have a spouse, it's so important that you do things side by side and you work on these goals together. Because if you have one person that spends everything that's coming in, but the other person wants to save everything, and you're going to have some troubles in that marriage. So you have to work on the same page, have some similar goals in mind, and work on them together. And then a final piece I think that has really helped us is we know where exactly where our money is going. You know, a lot of people, they tell me I don't have any money, I'm broke, but yet they have the newest iPhone, they have the newest Coach purse bag, they have new shoes, whatever. And I'll say, well, you do have money, you're just choosing to spend it in this way. And that's the biggest thing I think for a lot of people is just know exactly how you're spending your money, because there are two ways to make more money. You either A, have to get a higher paying job, which it is possible, but a little more difficult right now for many than it was 5 years ago, or B, you have to cut back on what you're spending. So what I recommend is you walk around with a piece of paper and a pencil for 1 month, write down everything you spend. Then at the end of the month, you're able to analyze it. This is easy. It's on paper, pencil, but the numbers don't lie. You wrote them down yourself. Then you can cut out those areas in your life that you may not need at this point. And an easy example about how little things can add up fast. Let's just say during the work week, Monday through Friday, you eat lunch out. Keep it cheap, fast food. We'll say $5 a pop. Most of us aren't going to miss $5. We won't think twice about that. But you add that up, $5 a day is $25 a week, which is $100 a month, which is $1,300 a year. And on a teacher salary, $1,300 can go a long way. So I think that is a big, big element, is just know exactly how your money is being spent.
Some great tips. I want to dive into these briefly because you summed them up so well. The first step is having that blueprint, having that plan of what you want to do, what you're trying to accomplish. And I want to touch on that briefly for a moment, Danny. What was your outcome? You guys wanted to have a lower mortgage or no mortgage. You wanted to be as conservative or as lean as you could be without actually cutting any of the essential things you needed, right?
Right, and we accomplished our goal. Tracy was able to be a stay-at-home mom for 7 years. We had no debt except our mortgage, which we are paying off early as fast as possible. We're still able to invest for our retirements. We invest a little bit for the kids' college. We have an emergency fund in place. So we definitely were able to meet that goal. But if we didn't have that plan in place, it would have been hard to reach it because we wouldn't know where we're going.
So 2 key things there. One, you had the clarity of what outcomes you were looking for. Tracy staying home, being able to put money away for the kids' college, lower things. So you knew what the outcomes were, and I think that's really key. I want to touch on for everybody. Knowing what you want and then having some of the strategies clear on how you're going to get there. So that was the first thing. Second thing is, and this one can be a tough one, Danny, if you're not in the kind of relationship where you share values, and that is the working together part. If you have a relationship with a spender versus somebody who's trying to save, it's almost impossible. In fact, that's one of the major reasons why people have relationship conflict. So did it just come together for you and your wife, Tracy, or did you in the beginning have conflict?
We never really had too much conflict because we discussed it. And Tracy was more of a spender, I'm more of a saver, and that's just the way it goes. Usually when you are in a relationship, you do have one person that's more the numbers person and one person that is more of the free spirit and will spend money. That's okay, but we came together and found some commonalities on things that we could work on, and Tracy felt it was important that she be able to have the option to stay at home. So, and she wanted me to be able to remain in the classroom. So there's really no other choice. We have to work together to achieve this. This is what our, the goals that we have set for ourselves. So it's just that honest, open communication. And I know so many people expect, I don't know. I know I've read studies before. I don't know if it's still true, but the number one cause of divorce is money problems. I don't know if that's the number one cause, but I think for a lot of people, it's the straw that breaks the camel's back, because I think about how crazy my life is right now with 2 kids and working and doing all these things, and we don't have money problems. Add that to that equation, debt collectors calling and having these struggles and not being able to pay our bills. I easily see why people just throw in the towel and give up and their marriage falls apart. So it's so important to work with your spouse and do this together. And if maybe one is more of a spender, maybe set up some way that you're able to give them, say, an allowance or whatever you want to call it. Maybe they're able to blow $50 a week or whatever's in the budget that you can do. But you have to work together on this, because if you don't have those open lines of communication, it's going to come back and get you in the end, and it's not going to lead to a healthy marriage.
Well, and this goes back to the plan, because I think the only way that you can share and know that you're going to work together is if you're both in agreement on what the outcomes are, which you stated. She wanted to be the stay-at-home, you wanted to be the teacher and do it. If you didn't agree on those points, everything else you do about saving and everything else is not going to work, because there's no agreement on what the outcome is. So if you have that agreement, now you just need to agree on the strategies, because you both know you're on the same page with the outcome. And I think that's kind of the natural process of having that plan, because without that plan, trying to get her to cut back when she doesn't know why she's cutting back is going to be almost impossible.
Right, it's like a roadmap. If I were going to go from Georgia to California, you consult a map and see how to get there. Then it's up to you if you want to take a different route or do different roads, but you're going for that destination. The same thing with that plan. Then you have an option. You know where you want to be. All right, so how are we going to get there? And you can have some options to discuss. But yes, you do have to go in it together, because if you have someone if Tracy wanted to be the stay-at-home mom, but yet I blew every single cent that came in, it's not going to happen. So you do have to work together with that.
And that's got to be the biggest reason to if you are going to split with somebody, it's that you're not headed to the same direction. Like if there was just disagreement on the goals, it's almost impossible to make it work, because there's no shared value there.
Right, absolutely. It's hard. It's very difficult. If you want to retire one day, but your spouse could care less about retiring, I mean, I don't want to just say break up, but that's such a major issue that it's something that it's one of those things I don't think that you can kind of negotiate on. It's either you're in or you're out, because this is your life together. This is your future.
So really, that's where the compromise in the planning phase comes in, really getting clear and agreeing on that so you can work together. And the final thing I think is good advice, no matter what resource you're tracking, and that is logging where it goes so that you can make critical choices to improve where it goes the next time. And in this case, you're saying go around with a pencil and paper, log where all your money is going, so that at the end of the month it's staring you in the face, and now you can make decisions for the next month of how I'm going to use those resources better next time.
Right.
And I do that with time. I do that with you know, my energy, you know, where I enjoy it. So I'm constantly logging things. I think it's great advice. It does help you to now think through more analytically what is going to be the best choices for me. And in this case, especially financial decisions. Is it moving me closer or further away from the goals that we've set and the strategies that we've put in place? So I think it's absolutely great advice. Danny, where can people pick up a copy of the book again?
It's Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and if you just Google search my name, my website usually comes up first. So Danny Kofke, it's DANNYKOF as in Frank, KE, and then my blog page usually comes up first. So direct links there, see me in the media, and all sorts of things.
Okay, great. That's Danny Kofke. That's DANNYKOFKE. You can search for him. You'll find his website. The book is A Simple Book of Financial Wisdom. Teach yourself and your kids how to live wealthy with little money. Danny, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you so much for having me on, James. I enjoyed it.
I did too. Take care. Everybody who's watching and listening right now, be sure and check out his book and like and subscribe to Full Potential Show so you can get more great insights from people like Danny and freebies that you'll only find right here on the Full Potential Show. Oh, and before I go, speaking of freebies, Danny, we are giving away 5 free copies of your book. Where can they pick up a copy?
Yeah, if you just shoot me an email, and it's on my blog page, so dannykofke.blogspot.com, my email's there, and if you just shoot me an email, then first 5, you get it.
Awesome. Okay, thanks for that, Danny. Have a great afternoon, and everybody watching, you too, have a great day. Thank you.
Well, that concludes this week's episode of the Full Potential Show, your #1 non-boring source for personal development. I'm James Rick, and if you want to get more positive programming for your brain absolutely free on a weekly basis, just visit fullpotential.com.
If you like the Full Potential Show, you're going to love the Full Potential Club. What would you like most as a Full Potential Club member? Be 2 to 3 times more productive? Do what you're passionate about? Have more energy? Reduce your work hours? Travel the world? Enjoy an amazing lifestyle on a frugal budget? What if you could do them all? James Rick has been there and done it in ways that few people have. For anyone serious about taking their life or business to the next level, you know you've got to do more than just watch. You've got to do. Join James Rick and other like-minded people for an incredible $10 a month at fullpotential.com/club. Be educated. Be empowered. Be the best version of you. fullpotential.com/club. Try it free for 30 days.